what? On that note, we're back with the Drunken News on the Tangent Podcast, and I'm fucking awesome. So Steve actually does it now. Maestro, if you will.
Did you completely forget
Yeah.
what we're doing first?
Yeah.
What?
Question.
We've got a question.
All right, then let's do the question. It's still part of the news. That's a good news. That's news to me.
Yeah, it's news to you. All right.
So we're still on track.
All right, so we got a question, and if you guys have a question, you can send those over to brian@pxlpts.com, and we'll read them on air just like we're about to for this anonymous listener.
It's a bitch move.
It's a bitch move, apparently. Hey, guys, really big fan of the show. I think you guys are doing a great job. Quick question for you guys. I noticed that some info on the newest Call of Duty was leaked this week, and I was just wondering what your thoughts were on the series going back to World War II. Thanks for the response. So, does anyone have anything to say to this?
Yeah, I'll take it from here.
Go ahead,
So,
Gary.
Yeah, take it from here, Gary.
no, I think it's exactly what
1 point for showing initiative.
There's one.
I'm on the board.
There's one.
I'm feeling good right
Hey,
now.
don't mess it up.
So, I mean, I think we called this at some point last
when
year
we were talking about Battlefield.
when we were
Yeah.
talking about Battlefield. Like, Call of Duty is going back to World War II. Like, they have to, right? And Call of Duty has done like the games of 3, like the trilogies. So
Yeah.
like they've done the Black Ops, they've done the Infinity Wars, or whatever the hell.
Well,
they're
they have
doing
3
right now.
different developers, and they do it every 3 years. Each developer has a 3-year cycle, so it goes, whoever Treyarch, whatever game they're making goes to the next one, goes to the next one, and then they just.
but they do like these trilogies of certain gameplay.
Oh, you're talking about.
mechanics.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I
and
got what
like
you're saying.
and world.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like right now they're in the jetpacking phase where they're all boosting everywhere, and that's where it like really lost me because Black Ops 2 is.
was more of like the sprinting, quick scoping phase.
Well, no, Black Ops 2 had plenty of quick scoping in it, but it was, I believe like one of the better Call of Duty games that has come out in the last 10 years. And I think a lot of people feel that way. But now going back to World War II, it's piqued my interest back into Call of Duty just solely based off of Call of Duty 2 and me believing that was the best Call of Duty. And that's where my memories come from because nowadays when they have so many shooters, how do you differentiate yourself from everybody? And it seems like now the trend is before it was going to these jetpacks and movements, and Halo did it, and Call of Duty really like laid down the jetpacking. To now, it's like to separate yourself from everybody else, you actually have to go back to the roots of what started these franchises with Battlefield, with Call of Duty. If it's done correctly, I think it will be one of the top selling Call of Duties. I mean, I think that I don't even know what the last one was called.
Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare.
Warfare. I
Yeah,
don't think
just
it did
Infinite.
as well as they were hoping, and I think Call of Duty's been slowly on a decline. If this is true and it's just rumors at this moment, we haven't seen anything. It's true. It's gonna be a huge hit for them. They just got to do it right, and hopefully bring back some of the Call of Duty maps or Call of Duty 2 maps. Like that would be cool to see.
So what?
But I mean, it's. I'm not
Still
gonna
Call
get
of
it.
So
Duty.
I think
Is
Still Call of Duty.
I think Justin's right. I still think it is. It has that stigma behind it where it is Call of Duty, but it is like one of the best selling games of all time. So they're still going to make money off of it, and I think that, like what Gary was talking about, you're going to have the people that are going to buy Call of Duty year after year, no matter what. That's what they're going to do. But then you're also going to get the people that have, fond memories of Call of Duty 2 and how that game played. And then you're going to have, it's going to pique Gary's interest. Like, oh, do I buy this? Maybe
Like, I would've
if it's
bought-
good.
Call
I
of Duty
would've
2
bought-
is one of the best games ever, but I mean, it's still like
Okay,
left trigger,
let me-
right
let
trigger
me-
is what Call of Duty
let me
is
tell-
now.
let me
It's
let
like
me
left
ask you
trigger,
this
right trigger,
though,
left
like
trigger, right trigger,
they
left
go
trigger,
like,
right trigger.
hey, Call of Duty WW2, that's what they just call it, right? They call it Call of Duty WW2, and then they also include a remaster of Call of Duty 2. So then you get Call of Duty 2 remastered on your Xbox One, and then this new one.
So what I'm buying is Call of Duty 2. I'm not buying the new Call of Duty.
Exactly.
So I mean,
Exactly.
So
That's what they
did
just did
I
with
know.
Infinite Warfare
So I
and
mean, it
Call of
doesn't
Duty
make their new
Modern
game any
Warfare.
good.
No, I mean, like,
You'll probably try it.
let's be honest though, like all of their games feel good, even though they're like ridiculous and outlandish. They're still one of the best first-person shooter like games.
Yeah, but when nobody wants to play the multiplayer.
Or everybody
still plays the multiplayer. I mean,
Casuals.
No, it's a very casual game,
which is
that's
a
why it makes
huge
so much
market.
money.
Yeah.
But I think, to Brian's point, I think that would be super smart if they release Call of Duty 2 remastered with this, because with the last game, I wanted to play the remaster of Modern Warfare.
But you weren't going to buy it separately, or you can't.
You can't buy it separately. You still can't buy it separately because I think they realized like it would outsell their new game.
Absolutely.
So that's why they kept it with the Infinite Warfare?
Yeah.
Whatever. I didn't want to. I'm not buying that piece of shit. So, but if they had a Call of Duty 2 remaster with a brand new Call of Duty World War II game, yeah, I'd try out the World War II game and I'd buy it.
You would
because
buy
if
it
you could play Call of Duty 2 online multiplayer,
yeah,
the same, just like they did with the remaster of Modern Warfare, like that would be insane.
Yeah, people would buy it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's gotten us talking about it, obviously, and people talking about it again.
And clearly people interested in it, sending in questions. So
yeah, no, we appreciate it.
Anonymous.
Even though it's a bitch fucking move.
Yeah, it sounds like you'd be playing Call of Duty.
He also notes, on a side note, people who use fleshlights just make me sick. Just felt
Take back everything I just said. Steve, give Anonymous a couple points here.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, let's give him a couple points.
Just felt I should mention that. Thanks again.
A couple points is due there. He might win this week.
Yeah.
He might win.
Wow.
And speaking of points,
Wow.
last week we had a winner.
Did.
Squeaked it out. I still think it's
At the end.
debatable.
He was trying to sell the points, man.
He was trying to sell the points, so he gets 2 points. Steve, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Wow.
Let's time this out.
I got it.
30 seconds.
So he's got. All right. Remember the
Dude.
rules. He gets 30 seconds
Of
to say whatever.
complete
Complete silence. You cannot reply after he's done. We just move on.
But we still have the rest of the show. I mean, what if he gets sass from other people because of the rant? I mean,
But right away,
Well, you will lose
can,
points if you do that.
we should do this at the end.
Nope, it's right at the beginning.
No, we do it at the beginning.
All right, fine.
All right. Ready, set, go.
Overwatch is the most overrated game of 2016. This was not a $60 game. It had 3 game modes, 12 maps. I think the player selection was copied off Team Fortress. This is Blizzard's biggest disappointment of a game. It's definitely the decline of Blizzard. Nothing like Diablo 2, StarCraft. So, done.
That's it.
Just
First news story. Ages of Mayhem blasting onto PC August 18th. So, we got this Ages of Mayhem.
I'm into that a lot.
Cartoony third-person open-world action adventure set in the near future of the Saints Row universe. Now has a release date.
I didn't hear
August
anything you
18th.
just said. Oh, man.
But it's actually the 15th in North America.
August 15th of this year.
They're not throwing me a year.
What is it?
That sounds like a shitty news outlet.
Rock, paper, shotgun?
That
Hey.
sounds very credible.
Guess who sent this in?
I am.
Jerry.
Jerry.
You know.
I find all the great news sites.
You got a joke for this?
Alright.
But I mean,
I pretty much got points for one of the news. Never mind.
anyways,
Never
Yeah,
mind.
you're saying too much. Don't
I'm
lose
saying way
points.
too much. I'm gonna be quiet now.
So we got a trailer, but it doesn't mention anything. Blah, blah, blah. Holly Nelson went to check in on the game for us recently, and it sounds like she had fun. Don't know who that is. But she says, the combat felt satisfying and was generally enjoyable. Very quickly, I found myself cycling through my 3 heroes, using one to blast away close range with a shotgun, then darting back with a faster character. It's a mechanic I actively wanted to spend more time with.
and this is a single player game, it said, right?
A
Single player action adventure game?
Didn't mention single player, just said third person open world action adventure set in the near future of the Saints Row universe.
Okay, so for at least for me, I feel like that they're saying if it's an action adventure game, you're not really thinking of like a multiplayer game. I think I like that they're expanding upon Saints Row universe. I felt like the Saints Row games were always really fun to play. The stories were fucking stupid and outlandish. but I like that they're kind of doing like a crackdown type of thing with these agents of mayhem. And then like each character does a certain thing. I feel like I've seen that before somewhere in like a game that was Game of the Year last year.
Started the downfall.
But I thought that I don't know, like I think that it's Justin's trying to take points
some of his
away.
Points away. They just
That's
taking
I
shots
don't
at
know.
Overwatch.
That sounds like a fucking teacher's pet thing to me, pal.
Dude, I'm trying to get my 30 seconds.
Did you hear him last week?
I
mean, come
heard.
on.
I heard.
Trying to
Don't
get
worry.
my 30
Don't worry.
seconds.
He
I
just
understand.
repeats what you said.
I
Alright,
understand.
Fake
2
news.
points minus to everybody but Anthony because there's too much infighting. Anthony's.
Who's gonna win 2 weeks?
Can we fucking settle down?
Fake
Talk
news.
about the game.
Well, I was trying to before somebody
That's a
was
good
trying
point.
to.
Brian, you get an extra point.
Was someone was
Wow.
trying to
That sounds
cut
like
me
some
down.
teacher's
But,
pet shit
All right,
to
that's
me.
it.
No points for anyone. Everyone's on
Fucking
timeout.
over.
Wow.
End this podcast. All right.
I don't
All right,
like.
you
I
done?
think that it is smart to expand upon the Saints Row universe. I feel like there is more to tell there. At least from a more serious standpoint, rather than like the president of the United States goes to hell. Like it's kind of fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was one of the better games.
Yeah, well, again,
was-
but like
that's
that's, the
what separates
gameplay.
it.
That's
Yeah.
what makes it so fun.
No, I think it's great.
Saints Row 1 was so good. I'm into that.
Yeah, Saints Row 1, Saints Row 2.
They're
was still
all
a really
kinda
game,
good.
and they're all good in their own unique sense. You know, they realized that they weren't going to be able to compete with Grand Theft Auto, so they went to the crazy realm of being the president of the United States, fighting an alien race, going to hell,
Yeah.
that type of shit.
And to be able to
And-
survive and be that ridiculous tells that's a pretty good game. Because most games that would be that ridiculous, people wouldn't buy that or play that. But they're good.
All right. I'm gonna move on to the next story.
Yeah, please.
I'm gonna
Please
read
do.
the whole thing
Sure.
because
Why?
you'll see why I'm gonna read it because it's ridiculous.
All right.
Ready for the headline? Red Dead Redemption 2 reportedly set to show off 4K on new Xbox One. At E3 2016, Microsoft showed off a new, slimmer Xbox One called the Xbox One S, which is already out, and announced Project Scorpio, a souped-up Xbox One meant to do 4K resolution bullshit for people whose TVs also do 4K bullshit, and supposedly better than PS4 Pro does. It might also be more expensive. Who knows? We might soon. Well, we might soon. Windows Central reports Microsoft will unveil Forza Motorsport 7 in the next few weeks as the headliner of a 4K showcase for Project Scorpio. A bunch of glossy cars. I can just picture it on an endless loop on the wall of Costco TVs. According to the report, Forza 7, Crackdown 3, and the State of Decay 2 will also be on display. All first-party Microsoft games will run at native 4K on the Scorpio, along with Call of Duty, presumably the newest one. FIFA, Madden, Star Wars Battalion 2, and Red Dead Redemption. Maybe we'll get a little more than we did in the teaser. Microsoft will use Forza 7, Battlefront 2, and Red Dead Redemption 2 to showcase 4K on Project Scorpio Xbox exclusive.
Who
Why
the
would
fuck?
this headline mention Red Dead Redemption?
Clickbait.
Because it's not even the main focus of this.
Who sent
Click-
that in?
Yeah. No, first off, it doesn't matter who sent it
Gary.
in. What is the What is
So
the
this
media
was-
outlet?
The piece of shit known as Destructoid, and this was written by Steven Hansen. Steven with a V. Never
Steven
trust,
with the V?
Never
Dude.
trust Steven with a V.
Oh
Wow.
my
End
gosh.
story.
Oh my lordy lord.
We will move on.
That's fucking atrocious.
bad
That's
writing.
awful writing.
It's awful
You
writing.
know what? That sounded more like slander to me.
It really just sounded like somebody going on a rant, and then they were just like, "Oh yeah, put that to text, and we're fine."
No. Yeah, well,
Hey.
you know what? You all get 5 points.
Yeah, all right. I'll take that.
All right.
I can't.
See
do
what
this.
happens when you're quiet, man.
You get points.
Jack and Daxter Trilogy HD remaster is coming to PS4. So we're getting a remaster.
to PS4?
PS4.
It was
Okay.
exclusive to PS2, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Jack and Daxter is Naughty Dog's second series of games. So I'm a huge fan of actually the Jack and Daxter series. I'm actually really sad that they're not including the combat racing game called Jack X that they did in the trilogy. But the trilogy was re-released for the PS3 at one point, and then they're redoing it for the PS4, which I'm excited for because like I would actually want to play these games again. And it's funny because you mentioned this like a month ago where you were saying that like, oh, I like, is Jack and Daxter available on the PS4? Like, I've always wanted to play them. And I was like, no, they're not. They're only on the PS3. And unless you want to like pull that out and plug it back in, you're like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck
And
that.
then 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, hey, by the way, PS4 release date.
They heard it. They were listening to the podcast.
Yeah, they listen.
Smart.
So the games will be getting some polish. So what Sony is calling 1080p up rendering, which is a fancy way of saying it will look sharper, I guess. Included in the release are Jack and Daxter, Jack 2, Jack 3. Also along for the ride is Jack X Combat Racing.
What? That makes me smile.
What?
Yeah.
That makes you actually kind of squeal a little bit or whatever.
Yeah,
that
I know.
was.
I mean, that game is really fucking good.
It's really all.
I'm
There will also be
impressed.
a few more additional features, such as trophy support, share play, remote play, and activity
All about
feeds.
those trophies.
No
I'm actually
price listed
Platinum that
yet,
shit.
but the game will be available to purchase and download from the PS Store later this year.
Sweet.
So
I'll
yeah.
have to give it a try.
And then
How many games are there?
There's 4.
chuck
which
in
is-
a bunch of other
Which
questions
is
at the end of the story.
which is surprising because like the Nathan Drake trilogy didn't include Golden Abyss for the Vita, but they're including Jack X, which was kind of their like after project of
It's a
Jack and Daxter.
Vita game.
No, Jack X was it was a PS2 game. So yeah, all of those are exclusive to PS2.
Sweet.
And PS4.
Flippin' sweet.
So, next one up is Final Fantasy 15 art director leaves Square Enix. 2 longtime employees of Square Enix have taken to Twitter to announce that they have both respectively left the company to pursue other endeavors. Both employees have been at Square Enix for a combined 38 years.
Holy moly.
So the first employee, Asismu Kurokirayo, was the art
Probably super
director
accurate.
for Final Fantasy 15 and has worked at Square Enix for an astounding 18 years. He'll be leaving the Final Fantasy 15 developer to pursue freelance art and dictation work. He started out as a concept artist of Final Fantasy 10 in '99, eventually working on the 5 Final Fantasy titles that followed along with producing art for the 3rd birthday.
That is
From
fucking
10 to-
incredible to think that Final Fantasy X was in development in '99. Like you said, like, oh yeah, he was back in
15,
Final Fantasy
yeah.
X in 1999.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, that game is fucking old.
Yeah. When did that
Indeed.
game? It came out in 2001.
One?
Yeah.
2001, 2002, maybe.
Yeah.
Wasn't it had to be 2
Might have been 2.
because it wasn't a launch.
No, it
Well,
wasn't
wasn't.
PS1,
launch.
PS2 came out in 2000, October 2000. So it could have been 01, late 01 maybe.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
thinking
thinking probably
02.
late 01, early 02.
I'm gonna say 02.
Christmas of.
And then the following day, Square Enix producer Yoshinori Magashi also confirmed his resignation from the company. He had been a producer for both Star Ocean and Valkyrie Profile series over his 20-year tenure at the company, along with games like The Ill-Fated Mindjack.
Some other
Oh,
stuff you
yeah.
never heard of.
He announced that he'd be working on a brand new game from a different company, but he hasn't made any details to the public. So yeah, so it looks like they're leaving.
And going somewhere else.
So I feel
Sweet,
like there's
sweet.
I'm like of two
Have a good
opposite or two minds about this, where it's like it sucks to see them leave because they've influenced so much from Square Enix, from Final Fantasy to all of these different games. But then it's nice to see Final Fantasy 15 do something completely different that's breaking away from the norm, and it's well received and people actually like that. So then you have these new faces and these new minds come in, these new probably younger, you would imagine.
Right.
These younger minds come in and just kind of give their ideas to the company and kind of move forward with that rather than sticking with the old. So it's like, all right, the old Final Fantasy's out, and that kind of sucks for some people, but then a new, Final Fantasy 15 comes in and it's well received, so people kind of like that. So I'm interested to see where they kind of go with it.
They've
Kind
both
of
almost
like
been there
how-
for 20 years.
Breath of the Wild.
You feel about Breath of the Wild? You want the old school. Everyone's liking the new school. You're stuck in the middle of going, what's going on?
Like, I like this. I also want this.
Astute observation. It's a point. I like
That's what I'm
that.
talking about.
Anytime you can bring up Breath of the Wild, I'm a fan.
He knows
Breath of the Wild.
He's playing his audience.
That's a point.
Hey, there it is. Repeated what he said. Get some points.
With enthusiasm, though.
Classic.
Classic McGruber.
Near Automata is officially a hit as shipments and digital top 1 million. So Near Automata, which is Square Enix game, has announced that it just hit a 1 million milestone. Now that accomplishment comes with a caveat. That number takes both physical and digital sales. I don't know why that's really a caveat. That's how things are going down nowadays.
Yeah, now, yeah.
The publisher didn't break down sales, but it seems clear that the Steam's version's quality port helped. Rough low estimates put Steam sales at the $228,000 range. This entire series has been a passion. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it sold a lot. 1 million. This article really doesn't say much. Another Destructoid article, just fucking
shocking
killing
clickbait. Yep.
I mean, it's a
Click,
milestone
click,
for
yeah,
this game.
absolutely.
It's a new IP. I need to
Why
play
is
this
it a
game.
feat? I don't fucking get it.
Why is it a feat?
Crumble it harder.
The number takes both physical and digital sales into account, but it's still an impressive feat.
It exceeded.
Why would it
sales
even? I mean, it's an
expectations.
impressive feat regardless. Like I don't.
Well, yeah. I mean,
What
one,
is
it's,
digital?
It insists upon itself.
it's a
What is digital? Why is digital I don't even get
well
it. Why would
because
digital
now
be
that
impressive now?
I guess now that MPD is taking into consideration digital sales, because that's like roughly the past 6 months. That's new.
I don't know.
So people are still like, hey, let's write about that, and it's like, let's maybe
Is that the same shithead that the other one?
I don't,
much
what was it?
money you make
Shane,
off.
the last one.
Steven with a V.
Steven with a V. You can't
I mean,
trust a
it's
dickhead
bottom
named Steven
line,
with a V.
This is a game that I know Anthony purchased. He hasn't played yet.
I have
I
not.
haven't.
Psychopath.
Purchased. I'm waiting for a
Back
nice
up.
deal on it,
Zelda.
Yeah.
but I need to play this
Breath
game.
of the Wild.
Like,
Yeah.
This game is super legit. It's another
That's
hack
it.
and slash.
I think he just won.
I'm listening.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We can move on.
I don't know. I'm with you, Gary. Like I think it's actually very impressive that a brand new IP comes out this strong. People are this excited about it, and then you have other games like Horizon and Zelda and Mass Effect all within the same month of release window, and it still sells over 1 million copies, right? So that's pretty fucking impressive.
They released it in the middle of a lot of games.
Yeah, it
even
was like-
Neo came out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like
'Cause
you have a lot of in this game in particular. The thing that drives me to this game is the fact that it's a third-person hack and slash shoot 'em up, but at certain parts of the game it's 2D side scrolling. At certain parts of the game it's top-down shooter. Like they incorporated all this, and it's like the anime is in there. But like I've watched the first 15 minutes of this game, and I'm like, I need to play this game.
it's so strange to me because it kind of feels it's weird because it kind of feels like an NES game where like you would see this kind of stuff in the NES era of especially like a super Japanese game like this is where you have like different mechanics where it is side scrolling in one level and then the next level you hop in your ship and then it's top down like Galaga type of thing. So it's interested to see like this kind of style of game come back. So
Absolutely,
like,
it looks super interesting.
I'm super interested in playing it, but not until there's like a lull in games and when this game inevitably
There's too
drops in
many.
price. Yeah,
There's too many games right now, but
which
it's
is
a feat,
unfortunate.
though. Yeah, I mean it's a feat though. Square Enix, they have put together some good games. I know last year you enjoyed Deus Ex.
Yeah, and then before that, Rise of the Tomb Raider, or I mean Crystal Dynamics, but
Yeah.
you understand.
But they've been putting together some pretty decent games, and this is another one to add to the list, and I think it's a great feat. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that
They have
news
great
article.
feet.
Just repeats everything I said.
Next story is Zelda Breath of the Wild developers on Ganon and Zelda story positioning and using the open air concept in the future. So Famitsu is publishing an interview with some of the developers behind The Legend of Zelda. So first they asked about how Nintendo settled on Ganon's role in the game. Zelda was given a fairly deep portrayal, but Ganon only exists as a calamity. Role-wise, it was unnecessary for him to be personified. If he talks, then his background would need to be shown, and that would only be an obstruction in the game. That's why Ganon is shaped as it is. These are probably spoilers. But, anywho.
What?
Who sent this in?
Might have been me.
You
This
sent
guy.
in a spoiler for a game you haven't even beat.
I guess
Did
so.
you just tell me Ganon's not going to speak?
No,
And we're done. And we're done with
well,
that.
I mean,
Well, anyway, speaking of characters, we also put out the question as to why Zelda has what is almost an inferiority complex. It was I did not know that. I'm not that far.
Yeah, I
It
would
was
say
easy.
probably.
Yeah,
I would
just
probably
skip to
just
the end.
it's
skip.
the memories.
Skip to the end of the story where it's just like Numa indicated that the open air nature of Zelda Breath of the Wild may be the standard of Zelda games going forward.
Okay,
I think that's the story.
that's the story. Yeah, I mean,
Jesus,
without
Steve.
the spoilers, I don't know.
Jesus, Steve.
Am I
Jesus,
excited
Steve.
about this? Am I
like to
not?
repeat.
It works.
Apparently, somebody says it, and then
Someone hears it.
someone hears it, repeats it, and gets the points.
Yeah,
I
it works.
Yeah, I suppose so. It works. So
That was one.
I like the fact that
Repeat yourself.
they've found this lightning rod. You know, like it's fucking huge right now. That's all anyone can really talk about. It's all we can talk about, and they're going to continue with it. And it just makes sense to do that. I liked where they're kind of going with Zelda. Like the last one was Link Between Worlds, and it did something drastically different. And now this one is completely fucking different on all ends of the spectrum, and it's learned every little thing from all of the previous games. And I'm interested to see, 8 years from now, whenever the next Zelda game comes out, what it takes from Breath of the Wild and incorporates it into that. I don't think that they're going to capture lightning in a bottle like they did with this, but it's interested to see what they learn from this and what they make like changes moving
Right.
forward.
It's probably what they should have done 5 years ago with Zelda.
Probably started developing it 5 years ago.
Well,
they
I meant like
definitely-
Skyward Sword.
Twilight
Whatever. It's the
Princess
game that should have
kinda-
come
no,
out
they made
5
it
years ago.
yesterday. Like,
But I'm interested to see. I wouldn't mind them using this engine in the same way they used
Ocarina
like
to
Majora's
Majora's,
Mask.
yeah.
Just creating maybe a smaller game up your alley, depending on
Like
if
just
you're
like a
yeah,
smaller enclosed. Don't get me excited, Steve. Take
Yeah.
it easy.
Because I could see them probably wanting to pump out one more Zelda on the Switch.
is this
depending.
what we're doing now? We're speculating on the next Zelda. Is that what we're gonna do for the next 5 years? We're gonna sit
Jesus.
here and talk about what is the next Zelda. We're not even done with this one.
All right, that's -10.
Yeah.
Well worth it.
Fair enough. Save your rants
2
for when you
minutes.
win, which will probably be never.
Yeah. 2 minutes, well worth
You're
it.
going down, sucker.
No, I just think I think it's a good direction for
Right.
for Nintendo to take because let's be honest, they haven't really been doing a
They
whole
finally
lot,
have a good game.
and they finally have a good game, and they finally have a
first time in
console
a
that's
decade.
like fun to play. So it's like, all right,
Sources.
let's hope that they continue with that.
Let's just keep this going every week. I can't wait. Speculation.
Oh,
Zelda.
Sources.
maybe. Anyway, Microsoft's Project Scorpio. More hardware details revealed. So we got some details about the hardware. I don't know if you guys want me to
Specs,
throw all the specs
yes.
at you.
Dude, how many teraflops? I heard there's like a
Still
whopping
six.
six.
Still 6.
Yeah.
6 teraflops.
Yeah.
6 T-flops.
Flops. Doesn't sound as good.
I don't know. I like 6 T flops.
Wow.
Flops.
I'm a big fan of 6 T flops.
No.
60 flops?
6 T flops.
So it's bumps up its processor from 1.75 gigahertz to 2.3. GPU cores jump from 16 to 40. There's a bunch of other shit. Actually, it jumps the RAM up, so it goes from 8 gigs of DDR3 to 12 of GDDR5. So this is the same RAM that's in the PS4. Same type, which is graphics card RAM.
Okay.
So what the Xbox One originally had is just normal computer RAM that you'd have like in your laptop. I guess.
Gotcha.
So they're kind of admitting that Sony had the better
right
approach.
idea.
When we first talked about
They
it,
admitted that?
By
Just,
Well, I mean,
switching.
by-
just by showing
Their,
that?
By
action,
doing
their
By switching the
actions are
RAM.
much louder than words,
yeah.
Bill.
Now I lost my train of thought. Thank you. Oh, we
Talk
talked
about
about it a
those
bit
damn RAM.
where Microsoft bet on using that type of RAM rather than what Sony was doing because they didn't think Sony could actually get like good yields. Like that they were going to get a lot of good RAM out of it without losing money, but they were able to do it, and that's kind of.
And now they're learning
now
from
Microsoft's like, well, we could probably do it. So
is this thing going to be a high-end PC, Steve?
seems like it's got support for 4K playback, 4K gaming. It also seems a lot like it's geared towards VR.
So I'm really kind of excited for the Scorpio like I was with the Pro. And I really hope that Scorpio doesn't pull me down like the Pro did. I'm really hoping that Scorpio is the console to go like, here it is. Here's our new stuff. All like Xbox One games that can play on PC and Windows, or PC and Xbox, you can play cross-platform if you want.
Well,
That's what I'm hoping that they say.
I think cross-platform play is going to be huge in the future. My biggest thing is I want them to come out and say, this is what the system is. This is what the system can do. And then literally, I just want them to tell me what games they're making for it. Because
Laugh gets a point. I don't.
The Xbox, and they haven't come out with anything. Everything that's been interesting, like Scalebound, they've canceled. There's no games that make me say, I need to buy a new Xbox. I broke my Xbox. There's no reason for me to buy a new Xbox. I want to buy the Scorpio, but I need to know about new games. Not just another Halo. I love Halo. I will buy another Halo. I will buy an Xbox Scorpio for a Halo, but I want more. I want new IPs, and I want to see what they're going to do to try to compete with Sony, because I feel like over the last year, they really have been quiet on the game front, and I feel like it's because they're making things for the Scorpio, and they're not releasing any of that information, and that's why we haven't really heard of Crackdown 3 lately, because that game was announced 3 years ago.
Yep.
And now I believe we'll finally get something at E3 for Crackdown 3, like that it's going to be releasing at holiday this year, something like that, with alongside the Scorpio to kind of show off the power of it.
I'm sure we'll
they
hear some
need to
stuff
bring
at
the
E3.
games. Like
yeah.
the system is great, but Xbox needs to have games.
I put out a tweet saying I don't know how this is going to... It's the same problem I had with the PS4 Pro, how it's going to end up dividing, especially developers.
Yeah.
With what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I target Scorpio? Like, what's the criteria? There's really no information, I don't think, on how Microsoft's handling that divide in the same way we've gotten information about how Sony handles...
Well, I mean, there's just no details yet.
Yeah. And that, I think that's to me, that's the bigger, besides obviously no games, the bigger issue is, well, how do you then deal with your already installed user base? Like, you're not going to get a lot of 4K or souped up Scorpio games because that's not where the money's potentially going to be.
It still needs to be on
if
your
they
Xbox
somehow
One.
Make a lower tier like PC, like when I say lower tier PC, I'm talking about like those high end PCs. That if they make something that is a lower tier PC that is easy to convert PC to console, the amount of games that they have at their disposal from developers would be incredible. Like if there's not that much that they would need to do to tilt to go to PC and to Xbox, right, they're going to have a lot more games at their disposal than say PlayStation would have. And that would be a huge thing for them. Especially from an indie front, if they can somehow specialize in that for indie developers to create not only for PC and for Steam, but also create for Xbox. I just think they have an opportunity, and like it's going to be very interesting come E3 when we start hearing about the Scorpio. What are they doing? Mm-hmm. And then what games do they have? It's a huge year for them. It's huge.
I don't know how much
it can be.
Either way, it's huge.
I don't know how much the divide is between indie developers creating on like Windows or Steam, than going to an Xbox. I think it's pretty lateral. I think the issue is the higher end games where you're targeting like really good graphics. That's the divide. It's like you can't do an Ultra on a PC and then put that over to the Xbox. I mean, you can only do it. You could do it on the Scorpio, let's say, but then you have to deal with all the other Xbox ones that maybe or maybe not,
Thank you.
the games then have to be compatible with. Because
Don't make a fucking
they could
mess.
decide, oh, okay, we're only going to make this Xbox One exclusive. I mean, Xbox Scorpio, say, exclusive. If Microsoft allows them to do that, but then you lose, you know, a big portion of the market. I mean, Microsoft's already going in the direction of kind of trying to get, you know, their Windows in line with their trying to get those as close as possible.
DiOS.
UI and just getting those games compatible without as much
And
as
they've
much fuss as
slowly over the
possible.
last couple of years, they've given you the games like you buy Gears 4 on Xbox, you also get it for PC. You buy Quantum Break, you get it for PC,
Right.
and vice versa. So they've slowly been working at it. I just hope that I hope that they can come back with something really that stands out this year, and then that way, Sony has these games now. Xbox can start finally making a move on some things and really just drive everything forward. So if they fail, it's gonna get bad. It's gonna get bad.
I would like to see them incorporate some sort of, I guess, PC remote desktop type of thing via the Xbox Scorpio. So basically, if you have a PC at home, you can then log into that PC and use Steam on your computer or on your TV through your Scorpio, or even just incorporate some way of including your Steam library. I don't think that'll ever work because
they'll
of
never
Steam
do
machines, but I would like to see
Steam
some
would
sort
never
of,
let that happen. But if you could get Steam on a
you
console
could,
like that,
you
be
could,
insane.
you can't stop something from remote desktoping to something else. So, if you have your PC, right, you have your PC upstairs, but if you can do it natively through your Xbox One Scorpio, then you can technically play those games on your Xbox. And I think that would be something that if it's like a higher end or I guess a lower end PC, then that's something you could do. You can incorporate that.
I don't think Microsoft would want to do that.
No, but I would like to see
personally,
something like
yeah. I mean, obviously,
That'd
as a
be
consumer,
ridiculous.
yeah.
That'd be ridiculous. But I just think they're gonna integrate within PC and Xbox, and I hope for cross-platform play in a lot of different aspects. I know Justin has his issues with that, but I think if they balance it right, and I think they would, that you're building a community that Xbox desperately needs right now. So we'll see. It's
I'm interested in games.
sources.
Well, we can speculate for the next 3 months until
I
June.
would enjoy that. We should do that every single week on the Xbox. I'll bring some sources.
As
You
long
bring
as you,
some sources.
as long as you throw it in the news, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we will. Justin will bring some sources.
Some fake news.
Fake news. I'll bring the Zelda.
Look,
That.
There's
See how-
it's
see
like
how this
hold on,
works?
Hold on,
Point.
bud. Hold on, you got a
Thank
little
you.
schmutz.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah. Oh
Appreciate
my
that.
god! I'll give him a point for that. Look at
See
that.
that?
Who got the point?
All right.
Anyways,
Xbox Scorpio also ditches the Kinect port.
Fuck the Kinect.
Do we really need to say much about this?
well, I mean,
I
the
think they said enough.
Xbox One S also doesn't have this port, but they do have I guess a dongle.
Free adapter to users who already purchased an Xbox One and Xbox One Connect.
There
The
you go.
offer expired last month.
I don't like dongles dangling. Not on my Xbox.
Thanks for contributing to the conversation, Justin.
No problem.
Appreciate that. Yeah,
Mm.
fuck the Kinect. Next.
I like my Connect. I use her all the time. Hey,
That's what she
Cortana.
said.
She's probably on right now.
Yeah, she doesn't like you just like your girlfriend.
She's
Too
my
bad
fiance.
Fiance.
Ah,
You
boo.
fucking bastard.
That's a point for getting it wrong.
There it is. There it is.
It's the first negative.
The last story of the night is the developers of Persona 5 don't want you to spoil the game by streaming.
Are they
So-
asking nicely, or are they gonna put a stop to it?
It's a pretty harsh,
I can
penalty.
read, I think, their post. This is the first post from Tuesday's post. I think this place also double posted the same thing. Oh, no, they didn't. It's the same post with... Okay, so...
A lot
I'm
of
lost.
posting.
Yeah, I'm
There's a
lost
lot
on
of
the
Post
post.
going down.
Yeah, lost in
ready?
the post.
So the guidelines request the players not reveal plot spoilers or details about the endings to the game dungeons. To see how similar these rules are to ones imposed on reviewers, check out below. So 2 excerpts. So the first is from Tuesday's post. Please Please do not post any specific plot points or story spoilers, and only talk about the game in broad strokes. Good example. The game deals with dark themes right off the bat, with Lazorius teacher and other. I need Justin to figure this right out for me.
I'm just stuck on broad strokes right now.
Well, we
other-
can coach you past that.
And other corrupted individuals. Bad example, players immediately run into trouble with the pervy teacher, spoiler, whose actions go so far as to cause spoiler.
Oh.
What? What are you reading?
I
right
don't
now?
know.
It's their broad line.
So
What
I don't
is
know,
happening?
Do you know what Persona 5 is?
It's an anime.
No.
So it's like an anime where you play a kid in a school. So apparently one of the teachers
Lecherous? I don't think that's the
Is it
word.
tries to
Telltales?
seduce you. No, it's
like an actual
it's a JRPG
Okay.
like sim.
Yeah. Lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
lifestyle.
life sim JRPG. People fucking
Love-
eat this
yeah.
shit up.
Okay.
Me, I don't understand it.
Just think it's like the boxing game you had. Just think
Yeah,
in
just
Japanese,
no boxing, it's like
Japanese
just-
lifestyle.
Yeah. There's just
I
You're
other
buying
teenage
s-
stuff
but
going
You're
on.
buying
I mean,
sushi and
Yeah,
I think
you
the
go to the
developers have a
mall
solid point though. Like, don't fucking spoil the game for the rest of us. Like fucking Destructoid did with that terrible
Yeah, but the-
Nintendo news
but
that
the
we
game's
were just
out.
reading.
I don't get it.
There's a
Why
game
you?
out. It's on Twitter, like
Well, I think the game came out this week
in North America.
in North America. So I don't know. Like the developer obviously doesn't want the game to be spoiled for people.
Fuck him.
What
The game's
happened-
out. You put the art
But
out
you see
there.
the punishment?
It's
What
over.
happens-
It's out of your
What
hands.
happens if you stream this game?
Nothing.
Nothing
they're
happens. They're
punished.
just
Oh, when they
asking
If you
try to-
spoil it, the punishment for they said your account will get banned.
Maybe. The post also noted that as many players have already noticed, taking and sharing of screenshots and video clips through the PS4 share button is disabled throughout the game. Lastly, it issued a warning to streamers. If you decide to stream past 7:7, I highly recommend not doing this. You have been warned. This is in all caps. You do so at the risk of being issued a content ID claim or worse, a channel strike / account suspension.
This is bullshit.
Hardcore.
The
That-
content ID
that's
claim is
fucking
also
bullshit. If you don't want to see spoilers, don't watch,
Don't watch the
someone's
stream.
So-
like, come on.
I feel like
we're
like
not
I'm,
babies.
I'm with you on that.
I'm with Gary on that. It's sue for Gary.
I'm like I am with you guys on that. Like if the game
You're
is
with
out,
him? Yeah, that's a point.
the game is
Thank you.
out. You're allowed to.
Cheers
You're
to
allowed to like. I feel like like you shouldn't be spoiling the game. That's one thing, but like banning somebody or trying to like restrict their account or something. That's
well, filing a content ID claim's a
yeah,
a
that's
bullshit
fucking
move.
bogus.
Yeah, I mean that's one step away from a DMCA.
Those
Just because they
letters
stream
mean
it, I
nothing.
mean you put the game out. You're
Yeah.
done with it.
Well, how
It
many
goes
people
out in
do you
the-
think haven't seen this, like, warning?
Well,
And
there's
they're
that
just
too. Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going to stream this game today. And
Yeah.
then
Well,
they're streaming it, and all of a sudden, boom.
The
their
problem
account-
was
And
some
isn't-
guy he filmed himself beating the game and then realized he couldn't
like
use
upload
all
it.
that material.
Mhm.
So
I thought there was some sort of law against like art, and once you can't tell somebody that they are not
There's a
allowed
lot
to
of
do something with
fair
it.
use.
Yeah, right.
I
Like,
mean,
some bullshit.
I mean, they can file it. I mean, it's just a pain in the ass, the system you have to go through to
Right.
kind of fight it.
And they'll get your shit suspended way before you beat that case.
Right. I think it's just developer being a piece of shit. Once you're done with the game and it's out there, it's done. You're done with it. You don't have control over what people are necessarily going to do with
Just
it.
make it difficult to find then.
If
I-
people want to stream it, that's fair use. So
I feel like I feel like they're going about this the wrong way.
right.
And I feel like they should just be like, hey, like we understand the game's out. You can do with it what you want, but please don't spoil it for others. Like I feel
Right.
like that would be a better way about going about it. If you're like, we're going to ban you for doing something that you're allowed to fucking do.
It's going to happen. No matter what
Yeah.
they do, it's going to happen.
Yeah, but like them just saying like, hey, like experience the game and then don't ruin it for
They're
others
bullies.
that want to then
Right.
experience it the same way. Like I feel like that would be a much better way about going
Well,
about that.
I don't get it because anybody who doesn't want the game to be spoiled
You're
is
gonna
not gonna watch someone stream the fucking game. Like, end of story. I went out of my way not to see any Zelda shit, so I'm not going on watching Twitch streams of fucking Breath of the Wild.
Nope.
It's
Fuck these guys. You know what, Steve?
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy this game anymore. just
Were
not
you
gonna
actually
do it.
going to buy it?
Yeah, I was gonna buy it, but now after that article, I'm not
I'm
gonna buy
not.
it anymore. Fuck that
Get
game.
some points. It's 2 for you.
I'm still gonna buy it.
If you buy it though, you're gonna lose all points for the.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I promise. I'm not
But-
gonna buy it.
There we go.
We done?
We're done.
All right. We
Actually
need
gotta
the
tally
total
up
up
the
points.
points.
Yeah,
Let's
you
get
want
the
to
fuck
freak those
outta
last
here.
points. I
Yeah.
agree with the last thing Gary said.
I agree with the last thing Gary said. I just repeated what Justin said.
Brian.
I mean,
those
I
are
don't
my
have a shot
points.
because I got negative 10 points.
I don't know if he really wrote those down.
So Gary winds up with 2 plus 2.
So, Gary, you know what that means? You got 12 points overall.
14.
Oh, shit.
He had a
Look
lot
at
of-
that.
oh.
He kept taking
I went to-
negative points against me.
I went to
Yeah,
school for art, not math.
It's all right. It's fine.
He definitely won.
No, I think
you
probably.
Brian's got plus 8.
No, you definitely won.
Plus 8.
That joke definitely put you over there.
Could have done it.
Everyone got
Wait,
plus 5 at one point, right?
Yeah. So that might as well have been plus nothing.
Justin got plus 3.
Oh wow.
Well,
Way
he
low.
did the negatives.
Anthony's got 7 plus 7.
So
Anonymous has plus 3. So
Brian-
Ryan's the
Brian.
winner this week.
You did it.
I
Good
feel
job,
like we
Brian.
should give a shout out to Anonymous, though.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
great comment.
That was a great
That
comment.
was.
He had a bitch move. Great comment, though.
Yeah.
Bring it
terrible
back
game.
How
many
Stop
plus
playing
3
that
points?
Game, Anonymous.
What's that?
Plus
three.
3?
Yeah, next week.
Higher than Gary.
Oh.
Throwing the shade.
You already won, Brian. You don't need any more points.
Rub it
Rubbing
in.
salt in the wound, guys. All right.
Get it.
I'm done.
Get it.
And
That's
with
it.
And with that, that's going to be it for another episode of the Drunken News Game Show. We're going to take a quick break and come right back with what we're doing on the site, our Twitter handles, and all that jazz. So stay tuned.
We didn't drink the doctor.